All right. Student directed study. And I'm going to be talking about budgies. So I have two little guys, or girls, I should say. I have Sprite and Blueberry. I think you should know which one's which. The blue one's obviously Blueberry, and the green one's Sprite. And this is more of a personal note, but that's kind of why I chose this student directed study because I have them in my own house and I want to know about them and what they are. And so they're small Australian parrots, and they check off all of the seven characteristics of life neatly. You know, they have special adaptations for dry grasslands, and they belong to a fascinating bird family, and I love to talk about them. So let's get straight into it. Seven characteristics of life in budgies. So they obtain nutrients and energy, right? So budgies eat seeds, and they crack them using their strong curved beaks. The seeds are once they are cracked, they are stored in the crop, which is in their throat, kind of like a little storage place, and it is done grounded in their gizzard, like their stomach, and it kind of just grinds it up until it can go into the intestines and be absorbed via the villi, those little small projection, finger-like projections that kind of absorb those nutrients. Anyways, then we have internal transport system. So yeah, these birds have a closed circulatory system. They have a four-chambered heart, kind of like humans, that sends the blood through the vessels. They breathe using lungs and air sacs, and they have gas exchange, which occurs obviously through diffusion, high to low concentration. We learned about this in class. So they respond to stimuli. They respond and can detect light, sound, touch, and chemical signals. They can see UV light, which is very unique for them, and they have this vestibular system, which is like the inner ear, and it helps them to stay balanced, especially when they're flying. And they use call signals and whatnot to tell other birds around them that there's danger around, or for mating calls and whatnot. Now, movement. They fly, right? They have these powerful pectoral muscles that's connected to their keel, the Neil's sternum, and they use these zygodactyl feet, kind of like two toes forward, two toes back, and it's able to kind of clutch and to perch and to climb, right? Anyways, reproduction. So they reproduce sexually. They have this internal fertilization. They lay roughly 4 to 8 eggs per clutch in tree cavities and whatnot. And incubation could take about 18 to 21 days, roughly, right? And obviously, eggs develop from gametes made through meiosis. Now, homeostasis. So, feathers help regulate body temperature, and uric acid excretion kind of reduces water loss. Behaviors kind of like fluffing feathers or panting kind of helps them to maintain balance, right? Fluffing feathers to warm up, and fanting or just kind of spreading their wings in order to just cool down. Now, protection. So they protect themselves. They can naturally by the camouflage plumage that they have, right? With the green and blue and whatnot, helps them to to blend in, as well as flocking behavior by staying with the other birds. They preen using oil from their preen gland, which helps them to stay clean and fight against predators and disease. Anyways, so adaptations to desert and grassland environments, right? What makes them adapted to these environments? What makes them so special to general parrots, I guess you should say, right? So they water conservation. So budgies have kidneys that concentrate urine and can absorb moisture from dry seeds, sometimes living without drinking water for almost 14 hours. So evaporative control. They regulate how much water is lost through breathing and skin, which helps them to stay hydrated in the heat. They have this nomadic behavior. So birds fly long distances, up to almost 500 kilometers a day, and following rain in order to just find food and to find that water. Anyways, because of their camouflage and small size, it helps them to blend into the grassland, and small size markets helps them to be less noticeable to predators and just to help them live and survive in that particular environment of Australia and in Asia. Anyways, what benefits and harms of budgies are there? So the benefits is that there's seed dispersal. They eat grass seeds, and they help seeds or spread those plant seeds and to maintain healthy grasslands. They are fair, not only just fairly, they prove as very good pet therapy and social interaction pets. Budgies, they reduce anxiety, they support people with PTSD or autism, and they help improve your communication skills as well. And I think they're a very good scientific model because they're so social, because they're so unique. You're able, scientists, when they study them, they get to learn a lot, especially about vocal learning. Anyways, there are some harms to these guys. So they are a feral population. They may compete with the native birds for nesting and resources. They do transport diseases, like budgies can carry beak and feather diseases and whatnot, and they pose risk to not only wildlife but also humans. And they can and they have the potential to be invasive. Escaped budgies in new climates can disrupt local ecosystems, kind of like that first point I just brought up. Anyways, the closest relative and evolutionary traits. Okay, so let's go through the taxonomy here. Obviously, domain of Eukarya, kingdom of Animalia, phylum of Chordata, class of Aves, of birds, order of Pistaciforms, family Pistaciculudae, I don't know, parrots, genus of Melopsidicus, and the species Melopsidicus undulatus. All right, now, what exactly are the closest relatives that we're looking at here? So, budgies are most closely related to lories or lorikeets and fig parrots, based on genetics here and DNA studies, right? Parrots, including budgies, are closely linked to songbirds and grouped together in the Spistas, Pistacopaceae clade, which is the parrot clade. All right, so what are the derived characteristics, right? Very similar to what I just said, small size, and they have those desert adaptations. So you can see that in this cladogram, we go from all the way from something very simple to prokaryotes and move your way up to get those simple characteristics, backbone, amniotic eggs, right? Then you get to reptiles. Reptiles are different to birds and aves because of the fact they're ectothermic, right? And aves, they're endothermic. That's why they have incubation. So we go from all the way to the pistachicanes or whatever, which are like the family for parrots. And then we get a little more specific with budgies. Anyways, that's it. Budgies are more than just charming pets, I feel like. They demonstrate how life functions, right? They showcase evolutionary adaptations great, and they shape ecosystems. Their benefits in therapy, science, and nature are complemented by the responsibilities and care and ecological awareness. Thank you for listening.